right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Pest Control Millionaire. Got another one of my new friends on the podcast, which is pretty cool because we actually never met before today. So it's just cool, but I do know his brother. He's been on the podcast a couple times, which is Kendall Hines. And today we have Jordan Hines, which is really cool because he's in the industry too. Obviously, it's kind of where Kendall made the relationship happen. I was like, man, I got to reach out to your brother. I'd love to get connected with him, get to know him, get him on the podcast. So Kendall did that for us last week. And we got Jordan on today, which is pretty cool. And Jordan, you actually own one of the lawn doctor franchises in, is it right in Grand Rapids or just outside of Grand Rapids?
Yeah, so it's basically Metro Grand Rapids.
And you just got done saying that you saw one of our vans recently.
Yeah, I did see your van. Yep.
That's pretty cool. We're in the same market. I actually enjoy it. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, you talk to people that are in your same market? I'm like, why wouldn't I? Like, we're out there to help each other. We're making each other better, We're up of the entire industry.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, there's always a lot of animosity, I feel like, towards like some industries with the same people, but like, I think we're all out there together. We're all trying to do something, change the industry for the better. And if we can do that, by talking to each other and helping each other out, then why not? Right.
Absolutely. And there's enough work for everyone to go around. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you listened to the podcast before, so I'm going to take us back to high school days. If Jordan and I were, sophomores and juniors in high school, who's Jordan in high school?
Yeah. So I actually grew up with a twin brother.
Really?
Yep. I have a fraternal twin. So
who's older?
I am by 12 minutes. It's always a competition, right?
Yeah, right.
So I grew up with a twin brother, so always competitive, right? Big sports. I played baseball, soccer in high school, right? I was kind of like in the middle between like, I guess I'd say like a athlete and like a nerd kind of, but not really. But I was very like introverted in high school, right? I didn't really have a ton of confidence. I was like, I was real like a $155 wet, right? Or like just skinny little guy, right? Nothing crazy, but I think it really transcended eventually once, I kind of graduated high school, went to college, and then kind of started getting into the whole business world. It's kind of when something really changed, right? And it's funny because I was going to play baseball at our local community college too, but then like when I had to make that choice to either play baseball or kind of dive into the business, I guess, because it was growing, I kind of chose to dive into the business. And that's kind of where like I'd say my transformation really started.
It's really cool. So obviously you're ultra competitive, twin brother. Guys, what route did he take after high school?
So he was in college too. And he did play baseball. It's funny. He went that route to play baseball. I, jumped into the business. And today he's actually a police officer in Austin, Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he kind of took that route, and yeah.
That's cool. Do you go visit at all in Austin?
Yeah, I did a ride along with him the last time I went.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was pretty crazy. Downtown Austin is insane.
It's fun though. I enjoy it down there. I actually like Austin a lot.
Yep, it's a good area. So,
did you go down any like Rainy Street, anything like that?
No, his sector was just outside of downtown. But yeah,
that's cool. And then so obviously I know I kind of know a little bit of the backstory, but why don't you tell the listeners how the business even started?
Yeah. Yep. So Lawn Doctor is a nationwide franchise, right? My dad bought that franchise or started, I guess, in 2000. And he kept it really small, for a long time. He was a grocery manager at Meijer. He actually delivered papers too.
Wasn't like the first location of Meijer in Grand Rapids area?
I think it was Greenville. I want to say it was the very first one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he was doing that, and he did Lawn Doctor on the weekends, right? I think he was prepping it for us. I think that was his ultimate plan. But obviously for all that time, it stayed really small, just one man show, pen and paper, no like software, no CRM, basically no records, barely. And then obviously my brother Kendall, once he kind of gets of age, he kind of dives into it. Me and my brother are still in high school at that time. And then Kendall's about 4 years older than us, right? So once he graduates, he kind of comes home, starts kind of diving into the sales and marketing of the business. Me and my brother are in college. And at that time, once that business really starts accelerating, it's like, okay, we need somebody to kind of jump in here and be a tech, right? And like I said before, my brother Matt kind of took the baseball route, and I was like, well, this has kind of been around me my whole life. I've known it, I've seen it, and it's like it's probably time to about dive in, start kind of learning like what it is and what it's all about.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what, like, I'm taking back to like summer number one. What was that like? Is that something, did you know summer one that you're going to do it forever? Or is it just like going to be a summer thing?
I really thought it was just kind of a summer thing at first, right? Like I've always loved kind of grass and green spaces and stuff like that, like mowing stripes, right? Like everybody does. Yeah, and then everybody thinks like people still think we mow. It's kind of funny. And I'm like, no, we do like turf healthcare, right? All that stuff. So I didn't know how in depth it would be, like licensing, all that stuff. I really thought it was kind of a summer deal. And once I kind of dove in, I kind of really fell in love with just transforming the lawns, like solving customers' issues, just, really caring about that customer and just seeing like the end result too was like really satisfying for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you know what made your dad buy the franchise route, go the franchise route?
I don't. I think because he already had his career at Meyer, he kind of wanted something that was like established and kind of had a good like blueprint and kind of was nationally recognized. So I think that really helps. That really helped anyway, keep it, or made him make that choice.
For sure. So like now walk me through like the come up of like your first summer through like where you're at now, like all the different roles that you've had in the business and where you're at today.
Yeah. So I want to say my first year actually in Law Doctor was like 2016, right? I was a technician from probably 2016 to 2017. 2017 is when Kendall kind of came in, really took over, purchased it from my parents at that point, right? Started kind of running it. I kind of moved up into like an ops manager role from 2017 to 2019. And then obviously Kendall kind of, dove into the lawn bot space or kind of started with that in like 2018, 2019. And so once he kind of like really dove headfirst into that, we kind of made a deal. And actually my now wife and I purchased that from him in 2019 in the fall of 2019. So our first season was 2020.
So you're 100% owner of your franchise now?
Yeah. My
That's cool.
wife and I, yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's cool. So 2020 COVID, right? This is your first year?
COVID was the first year. And
All
it's
right.
like,
So was there like stuff coming down from corporate saying, "Hey, don't go out there"? Walk me through that. It was a weird time for everyone. So that's about the time you're going to hit lawns, right? March 20th, March 16th, somewhere in there.
right. And we're literally getting ready to go. And like we're ready, right? It's March, like you're all systems go. Like my ops manager or the ops manager we had quits like the week before we start, right? And I'm like, okay, now we got to figure that out.
Did he work all winter?
He did, yeah, he did work over winter, and then it's kind of a blessing in disguise, kind of COVID a little bit because it came down out of nowhere. It just how it kind of started slow and then it just really really ramped up, right? And then it's like by the time everything's happening, we're the only state that can't work outside, right? Like it was just insane to me that we were the only
I've
state.
said this on the podcast so many times. Like no one really understands what it was like to live in Michigan at that time. Like it was so weird. Like we couldn't do anything. Like they said that we could go plow snow. I'm like, well, so we can sit in a loader and go push snow, but we can't go on a zero turn or a ride on sprayer. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, and it's like most of our guys are out there by themselves anyway, like no contact with anybody, right? So it was just crazy. But what was even more like confusing is like customers were calling us like all through that time, signing up for service, like saying, "When are you going to be out?" And I'm like, "I don't know when I'm going to be out," right? Like I'm just trying to like figure this out too, like we all are, and we just don't know. And every time, Whitmer would make a speech, we'd be really paying attention to see what we can do. And it was like a letdown every time, like, oh, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks.
Yeah, every time she spoke, it was like getting pushed a couple weeks out, another month out. It was like dangling the carrot, though. You know what I mean? Just enough for you to stick around.
Yeah, I even had a state trooper that was like, dude, I don't care. Like, I need you out here now. I'm like, I'm not going to enforce this, right? So we actually like went out. I guess I wouldn't say like legitimately, but we did go out and do some apps, right? Before
Allegedly, you did.
allegedly, yeah, before things were like lifted. Yeah. But I mean, it was a crazy time, right? It was just
Are you sick of paying marketing agencies and not getting results? Well, we are hosting the #1 step-by-step class on how to attract and generate sales without paying a marketing agency or having a huge budget. Most lawn care and pest control owners get stuck at a ceiling because they're dealing with outdated systems or relying on guesswork waiting for the phones to ring. Our upcoming class this Thursday provides proven strategies to generate hundreds of leads without a huge budget. We'll show you how to build a predictable system to grow past $1 million. We show you how to automate your marketing. We'll also teach you how to delegate and build your team so you have more time. So click the link in the description below. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. This is the one thing that I wish I had learned a lot sooner. Now, let's get back to the show. So welcome to business in 2020. First year. Oh, and now you can't go out and work. I mean, I'm assuming you have a ton of prepayments in the spring.
Yeah.
So you're sitting on a little bit of cash, so not too crazy, but now you got to go get the work done. So do you remember what day you actually got to start?
I don't remember what day we started. I want to say we for sure didn't work in March. I want to say it was either late April or like early May, something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like May-ish too.
But I mean, it's even hard to remember that time. It's like almost like I don't want to remember anything that has to do with that time, right? Because it was just it was painful. It was a painful time for everybody.
Yeah, did you because obviously you probably got on lawns late. Do you remember having like a bunch of crabgrass that year or anything like that?
Oh yeah, that year was really bad. I mean, we were probably spraying crabgrass all season from that point on, right? Because we couldn't get our pre out, so it's like yeah.
Yeah, so you bought the business in 2020. COVID hits, and then now you got 4 years of experience, almost 5. Yeah, going on your 5th year of experience. How's it been so far?
It's been it's been a journey. Like I feel like I hear a lot of people talk about like recreating yourself, right? Like I went from operator, and I still sometimes that's one of my weak points is I still think, or sometimes like I'm that operator, I'm that like technician, right? And I like the background. I I need to think more as an owner and kind of guide the ship instead of kind of working in the day-to-day stuff. And I think that's just been like a transcendent role every year. I kind of realized like, okay, I can't really be in the field. I need to keep getting less out of the field and more on like the bigger issues, right? Like we're things we need to avoid, things we need to do, just stuff like that to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know that. I know the franchise world quite a bit, but not your particular. Is corporate very helpful to you? Like, I'm not calling them out by any means. I'm just curious. How does that work?
Yeah. So I mean, we were getting together like once a year, right, for like everybody. And then we have like a regional business consultant that can come in and help us out. But a lot of like the long tenured franchisees or the ones that like are above $1 million, they're really, a lot of them are self-sustaining, you know, corporate still helps out like with the marketing side and a lot of the advertising and the brand presence. But once you get to that point, it's like, it's kind of like you're really steering the ship, right? Obviously we still have to fall under certain things and we kind of fall under their purview, right? But one thing that's really been helpful that they launched like a performance group. So other lawn doctor owners kind of close to our size or a little bigger than us, we get together a couple times a year and kind of really just compare everything, compare numbers, like full P&Ls out there for each other to look at, right? And that's really kind of helped us kind of see where we had to cut or add something as well. So that's been a really game changer for us is doing that.
Does corporate give you guys like the software stack that you guys use? You have to use your own software?
Yep. So we're with Real Green, or Workwave now, I guess, but we've been with them. I think they have, a bit, everybody's with them. So that's like a deal we've had.
Oh, really? So all franchises are with Real Green?
Yep. I want to say most of them, almost all of them are, unless they're just starting out. But I think even the new ones just starting out get put on Real Green right away, just so they already have the software in place.
Yeah, that's cool. So you said corporate handles marketing. Are you doing anything outside of marketing that corporate doesn't do? I'm sure they're doing like all your, all they talk.
Yeah. So there's like an opt-in program, right? And they do like the PPC, LSA, Facebook, some of those major things. We can still do stuff on the side, but primarily we focus like on our own Facebook pages, right? A lot of that stuff, videos like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, we do all that stuff.
Do you?
I actually started doing a lot more videos this year. Yeah. And that's been fun to kind of mess with and just do funny things or talk about it, right? And I think that's really helped too, because they get to kind of see a face. And it's not like we're always selling something. We're just more so just kind of either entertaining or just exactly education.
That's cool. Are you doing the videos yourself? Do you have someone following you around? Are you just holding your camera up? How are you handling that?
Yep. So we hired a girl this year that kind of does our social media, and then we kind of plan things. And she goes out and kind of tapes and just does the videos, and she has all the software to edit it and stuff. So she's been really good to have.
Yeah, that's cool. So you've been having fun with it?
Yeah, it's awesome. I was really shy at first, but like kind of just doing the videos, you kind of, I don't know, you get more confidence, or maybe you just don't really care anymore. But
Yeah, for sure. I think like if you go back and look at my first, 100 videos or even 100 podcasts, I feel like they all sucked. So just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Eventually, you just get better like anything else. And pretty soon you can make a 30-second video in like less than a minute. It's like, oh, well, this is way easier now. I know I went, and I've been doing a lot of content. But I went down to Florida like a couple months ago, and I was doing some video with my friends, and he was filming me. He's like, He's like, I filmed a lot. He's like, I've never filmed with anyone like you. I'm like, I've done it so much and I pat myself on the back. What I'm saying is like, the more you do these types of things, the easier to get and the better you get at them. So just keep doing it. Like, you're going to look back, God, those videos were terrible. But like, no one's watching at that point. 0 people watch them. No one really cares. People have their own lives to do with anyway. So they're not going to think about, oh, I seen my lawn care guy 3 days ago. They're never going to think that. So just keep pumping out content. It's fun. Like you said, do you have like a specific day of the week that you do content? A couple hours? What are you doing?
like twice a week for a couple hours usually, or if we're in season or whatever upsell we're doing at that time, we'll kind of try to tie it together, right? So like seeding season, grub season, mosquito season, just those kind of things.
Yeah. Are the mosquitoes out down there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're definitely out. Yep.
Have you seen any grubs in the lawns?
We had I know you're in Michigan too. We had a really bad like grub year last year.
Yeah. So do
Just
we up
terrible.
here.
Yeah, just terrible. I mean, and there's been some damage this spring. They haven't been too bad, but yeah, we're definitely seeing them.
Yeah, for sure. I seen some already this spring, which is crazy. I was surprised to see that. Do they design your program for you, or can you kind of do whatever you want?
So they have like a standard program, right? That they kind of like you go to like corporate training, I get like for 2 weeks, right? And kind of learn the whole system, everything, right? And then they send you home with like a program or a packet that you can use. But like most lawn doctors can kind of just really do whatever they want to do with their programs and with their apps, as long as like they're following like like some of the guidelines, but like really you kind of have like full free choice to throw what you want to throw or apply what you want to apply. Either way, too, granular, liquid.
That was my next question. Are you guys mostly granular, liquid, a little bit both? What's your program like?
So we tried the liquid route, but we have like our average lawn's like I think 15,000 square
It's
feet.
big.
So
Yeah.
for us, yeah, it's cool. Lawn
A lot
Doctor
of
actually
walking.
and they patent their own machines too. So we have like a granular spreader that's patented through them, and then our power seeder machines patented through them too. So it's nice to have that as well, not to worry about some of the machine issues or other things like that. They really know their machines. They have all the parts for them too. So that's kind of been nice to have that on our side.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously you just buy that through corporate or whatnot. And then, so you said your average lot's about 15,000 square feet. So they're just big. So you drive pulling hose, just do much work for your technicians or yourself.
Yeah, we tried, and it's like we got the 300-gallon right truck or skid sprayers in the back of the truck, and it's just like you're only able to do 150,000.
Square feet. Yeah. Which you're done by 2:00. Yeah. Then you have technicians pissed off for not getting the hours. Been there, done that. I learned the hard way too. Yeah. We still, like, in some markets, we still run all liquid too. In other markets, we have a hybrid program. Like down in GR, we do a hybrid program too. And then, but yeah, like up here, we've always been like all liquid. And so we're running like 500-gallon tanks, doing 250,000 square feet a day, which is like a full day for the guys, and they love it. And our average square foot size here is like 10 to 12,000, so it's nothing crazy. And we have a lot of hills up here. Like we just do. So just like, a lot of those machines just didn't do great on the hills, so that was tough too. Yeah. But outside of any video, or are you doing any marketing like that? And I know you said that your spring's been pretty crazy. I've been busy, lots of new customers signed up. Where are most of your customers coming from now?
So majority of customers are coming from online, right? Google, PPC, LSA, Facebook, stuff like that. Then obviously, like we did the clicky thing, so that's been good. We are
Of course,
seeing.
you did the clicky thing.
Yeah. So that's been really cool for
What
customers.
about Bravo?
We just got on that, so we'll see. It's not active yet, but yeah, I'm starting that. We did do some direct mail. We're doing some door hanging. I did door knock myself back in the day, and I do want to. Kendall made us go out and door knock, but I do want to implement that again. So we just haven't had the time. I just really want to put together like something solid, not just kind of send guys out on a whim. So we just didn't have the time to do it this year, but I think next year we'll probably, do something like that too.
So Kendall made you go knock doors when he owned it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. How'd that go?
It was good. We were, it's cool to work under that, like a person that's like, sales and marketing hungry, because it kind of teaches you how to like really sell or ask for the sale. Right. I feel like most people nowadays, it's like they're scared to ask for the sale or scared to ask for the card number. But if you're doing that in people's face or just talking to them, you kind of get that experience and that confidence, especially with COVID too. It kind of turned a lot of people off from talking to face, right? So we have so many like younger, not sometimes younger people that are just kind of scared to even talk to somebody, right? And they'd rather do everything through online.
Well,
So
you look at just kids in general these days. They're all like, not that I'm not on my phone a lot, but they're stuck on their phone, and you watch them in between classes. Like they have AirPods in between classes. They have their head down on their phone. They're just walking. Like they've never talked to anyone. Like not all of them, but a lot of the young kids just have zero communication skills in general. So then for them to go like try to go knock someone's door, like a cold door, and like that's just unheard of, But it's just, I honestly think that every single kid, boy or girl, should go knock doors for a summer. It changed their life forever. Because you said you were like pretty quiet, pretty shy, but you're out there knocking doors.
yeah, I mean that really helped me. We did cold calling too, but knocking the doors will kind of really teach you how to talk to people, kind of read situations, even just ask for the sale and just kind of build a reputation with somebody.
For sure. So why do you want to bring door knocking back?
So we were really big on like the guerrilla marketing tactics. I think just like we do a bunch
My
of long,
favorite.
yeah. Everybody forgets that, right? Like that's like tried and
It's
true
so
revenue.
old. Yeah, like your dad probably started, and it still works.
Exactly. It's like everybody's kind of moving to digital, and I feel like nobody's really attacking that other side anymore. So it's like we do a lot of lawn signs, we do a bunch of like parketing stuff, like just trying to get the name and the brand out there. And I think the door knocking will kind of coincide with everything else we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you remember, but when you did your EDDM, what was the response rate of that? Do you remember?
So we did one last year that we didn't get a very good response rate on. And I think it was really the offer. And this year we tried a different one with a more aggressive offer, and that one's been a lot better. I'd say like maybe 2 or 3% on what we sent out.
I love that. That's really cool. I get a lot of people just don't do it, and I say the same thing. It's like some people buy like 10,000 flyers and send them all at once. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I would just rather I'd rather take that same 10,000 and hit them with 2,000 like 5 times a year. You know what I mean? And just keep pounding those neighborhoods, make sure you get your name relevant in those communities that you want to be in.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for us too, we found like we have a pretty widespread area, but like if we can do neighbors or we can be dense or be in the same neighborhood, like it's just like that's really where you make your money if you're dense.
And it's all about route density. I actually have a shirt that says route density on it because that's what we talk about.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because that's how we make our living. Like technicians too. Are you guys doing pay for performance, or you guys pay hourly right now?
So they make an hourly, but if they do have like performance, they are paid on performance if they hit it. If not, it reverts to like their hourly. So
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So like for us, like they're more dense their routes are, they're less travel time. So they're making more production. And so they're making more money and everyone's happy. Technicians are happy. We're happy. Everyone's happy. The customers are usually happy too because everyone's happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Outside of that, you got Facebook, door hangers, postcards. Anything. Now you're doing video, which is really cool. Anything outside that's been working for you guys? Obviously, pay-per-click's doing good. Online's doing good. Sure. How's Clicky doing? Referrals? How's that going?
Clicky's doing good. I think we're up like 50 customers just from Clicky, I would say. So it's been really good. And we get a lot of people signing up too to be like to have to share the link. And that's been cool to see like how many people sign up for that and see. Yeah. So it's cool.
And you guys have you guys are one of the biggest brands in the world, probably. They're such a big brand. How impactful do you think that's been?
I think it's been really impactful. I think it does help to have that brand presence. Because it's pretty recognizable. There are some downsides to it though. Like a lot of people lump us in with the True Greens and like the Weed Mans, and it's like they almost look at us like we're a True Green sometimes, and it can be unfortunate because they're like,
But there's
they
some
don't.
and not to throw True Green under the bus, because there are some really good True Green operators. There really
There
is.
are,
Which
yes, there are.
yeah.
Yep.
But I can understand what you're saying. Like they just lump you in because you're such a big company. They don't want to deal with it. They don't realize that you're local. They just see you as a big corporate. And so like you're fighting that. So how do you fight that?
Yeah, so we fight that by just really being personal with the customers. I mean, I'll go out sometimes and even do lawn evals or talk to some people. There's actually a company in our area marketing, like not a franchise, and it's like, okay, but like we're locally owned and operated. We just really hit on that, like that family owned and operated 25 years. Like we're in the community, we're here to stay, right? We're going to take care of you. And like any issues, obviously we always take care of on our end. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Which kind of, I'm just spitballing here, but how do you get through Q4? Like, I know you guys aren't working. Is there anything you guys do in Q4 to stay busy?
Yeah, so I mean, we're probably one of the only ones that do this. We take a really different approach. My wife, Angelica, she runs the business with me, but um, she bought actually a caramel apple business. So that gets done in like November, December. And so that kind of sometimes helps keep some of the office girls busy.
Interesting. Isn't Kendall's wife an entrepreneur too?
Masha, yeah, yep, she has like a lash studio, yeah.
You guys are killers over there. It's a family of entrepreneurs down in Grand Rapids.
And then another interesting thing too is we flip mobile homes actually. I used to live in one, I want to say like when I was 18, right? And with my wife, and we sold it. And then we bought it back and just painted it and then sold it again. And we're like, well, we can actually maybe do this on the side or something, for some extra money. And then like one of my guys does flooring, one of them is good at electrical. So it kind of just works out to where we find these homes, kind of rehab them. Don't do anything major, floors, paint, drywall, stuff like that. And then kind of just resell them. And it's kind of helped keep the guys busy during that time. We do like 4 or 5 an off season.
That's pretty cool. Totally different approach. You're not out there plowing snow.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that all the time. It's like, you guys don't plow. It's like, no, but I can tell you, like from keeping those guys on all year, it may hurt sometimes, but like to get experienced techs and go out that season, and especially in the spring, ready to go, like you can't really. There's no value you can really put on that.
For sure. Even if you can get through Q4 breaking even, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Keep your guys busy so they already start the beginning of the year. How is hiring techs been down there?
Yeah. So we've been lucky. I've had all my guys come back mostly every year, and then we pick up like 1 or 2 a year, or have like a couple part-time college guys. What I found though is that we've really kind of built the business around like, our mission and our core values. And ever since we've done that, really, we've been blessed to where like we just get referrals from our current employees is what's happened. And so, we kind of have like a small waiting list, I guess, but
Build out your
um,
bench.
yeah, kind of just building out the bench, keeping guys in the queue in case anything happens.
Yeah, I love that because I mean, I see it all the time in all the forums constantly. Is like they lost their guy, the first technician, they lost their first second, like constantly going to lose guys. That's just part of the game. Like just like customers are going to churn, so are technicians. They're just going to churn out. So you always have to like always be hiring.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, they're bad apples. Yeah. But it's like, if they find a good culture and like they feel like valued and part of the mission, then, they'll stay, and they'll obviously reciprocate that by referring other people to you as well.
Yeah, and just because I brought it up too with retention, are you guys watching retention closely for your customers too?
Yeah. So we are on EOS, right? I hear you talk about that sometimes. So we, we self-implement. We started last year, even more so this year. So we got our weekly level 10, right? And that's really changed things too, because yeah, we're tracking retention, we're tracking revenue in, revenue out, sales, cancels, all that stuff. So yeah, we're definitely watching those.
So you started that about a year ago. What made you start that? Where did you hear it? Where did you come across it?
I think I got somebody in our performance group. I think kind of was reading one of the books. I think it's like EOS or what the heck is traction, and I think Angelica and myself both read the book, and we're like, hey, like this really is going to help us. We're going to read numbers, like because it's all about, right, if you're on like an island, what are like the 10 numbers or whatever you can look at and to know how your business is doing. And that just kind of blew my mind that you could look at numbers being completely away from your business and kind of know how it's doing. I'm like, that's amazing. And so we kind of really started diving in, read all the books, and kind of started implementing it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we started traction. I think it's been like 5, 6, 7, somewhere 7 years. I don't know. It's been a while since we self-implemented too, but only because we didn't have an implementer back then. There wasn't even close, and there's still not one close. I think the closest one flies into Milwaukee, so they're willing to like meet us halfway. I'm like, yeah, no. But we've been doing it so long at this point, and so we have our level 10. And then we have like a shorter level 10 on Thursdays with every single branch. That's like 15 minutes long, kind of like do the high level things that you just talked about. Just see if we can't catch anything right out of the gate, like something's off, you know what I mean? And that's been, again, it's been a huge game changer for us too. And I couldn't imagine the business without it at this point. So all the people who have never read Traction, I've said on this podcast a million times, I've read the book probably, I'm not even joking, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 times. And I think it's one of those things you almost got to reread every year.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's been invaluable to the business. Even if we had to pay for an implementer, like I feel like they would have been totally worth their costs.
For sure. And then the second book to that one is really good that I love is Rocket Fuel. When you get to size, like you need to work with someone probably, which is probably our next topic, but working with your wife, but figuring out who's a visionary, who's an implementer type thing like that. So that's a good question that ties us into that. Like, what is your role for your wife? What is the role for you? And then what do you see that look like in the future? And then tell me how it's been working with her.
I think you might know that question. So it's 2020 was hell. I mean, we almost broke up multiple times, right? It's just,
We said this on the podcast last week. It's not if the business was ever going to make it. It was like whether you two were going to make it.
exactly, right. And it's like it's like almost a different relationship in and outside of the business, but then it's like your entire lives, everything's riding on it, right? So we've definitely had like this long drawn out, like just really fight, really what happened. But eventually, I think once we realized our roles, so I'm kind of more in the operations, all pretty much on the operations side, right? She was a manager at a commercial cleaning company, so but she was dealt in like the numbers, so she kind of does HR, finance, all that stuff, and then we have our integrator, I guess you could say, Kristen. She's been like a lifesaver for both of us because I have a million ideas, she has a million ideas, and then Kristen's kind of like yes and no on the ideas, right? And so it's kind of helped to have her like almost between both of us to where like even if me and her disagree, Kristen's kind of like that tiebreaker, right? That kind of keeps things in sync. So as it currently sits, I'm in charge of the operation side. Angelica's kind of finance, HR, growth, and then Christian kind of does like our marketing and sales, I guess. So it's kind of like a three-legged stool. And then we both. I know you're not supposed to have like two people in one seat, but
I think when you first start, you're always going to have multiple seats, right? You're just going to own them as you start, for sure.
and we both have vision, right? So we're always both going with crazy ideas, and then Kristen's like, yay or nay, basically on the ideas, right? So yeah, I mean, it's been great, and I think really this year we established like we're starting to kind of take jobs away from her and myself to kind of slowly creep more and more out of the day to day. And it's been really hard to let go of like some of those things for me, right? Because it's like I almost feel like this business is like it is a part of me because it's been in my family for so long, but it's like really tough for me to let go. And I've just really struggled with letting go and trusting somebody else to do it. But in the long run, I see that like that's what's best for the business, right?
Yeah, because you'll just be the bottleneck, right? And the business, the business growth will just slow down because you'll get in the way and want to be every hands and everything. But trust me, I've been there. Like I had the same thing you're going through. Like I felt like as soon as I stepped away, I almost felt guilty. Like, and then all of a sudden like, it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was less and less involved to a point. Like, and so I'd ask my mentor, I'm like, I've been struggling with this. This is how I feel, and this is why. He's like, well, that means you just built it the right way. I'm like, touche. Doesn't make me feel any better, but I mean that's supposed to happen, but it is hard, and so I understand. But it's just like you said early on, like you constantly have to recreate yourself in the next version of Jordan. You know what I mean? And Angelica, you constantly recreate yourself, like this year, next year, 6 months from now. And like Patrick Bet-David always says, like you constantly have to recreate yourself every 6 months just to keep up. And with everything changing so fast with AI and all this craziness that we're going through, it's a crazy time we live in, honestly. Have you guys implemented any AI tools yet? What's that looking like?
Yeah, so we do a little bit of AI. We use it for kind of writing some of our SOPs. Actually, has been really helpful.
Very. Like we had this conversation like a couple weeks ago. Like someone asked me, like, how would I write SOPs? I'm like, Chat GPT. It's like my best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we pay for like the higher end model of it, right? And so whenever we yep. So whenever we need an SOP or change something, or even like a customer response, like sometimes we'll just run it through Chat GPT quickly, right? And it's like, I know Chat it's getting stronger, right? It's getting smarter. But like I've tried to ask it turfgrass questions, and like it's like 50-50 on turfgrass questions right now, but it will eventually probably be there to where you may not even need somebody to come out and diagnose an issue anymore,
So
right?
that's funny that you said that because I swear to God, the last 2 days I've taken pictures of lawns, uploaded them into ChatGPT, and it was accurate both times of what in the diagnose the problem. Pretty amazing. Then it gives you the whole way how to fix it. So it's like taking that report, copy and paste, put in the customer notes, and send it off. Upsell her customer.
Yeah, and it's like I think a lot of people are scared of it, but I think it's important, and those businesses that learn how to implement it and use it within their business are gonna go way farther than the ones that just try to like shy away from it.
For sure. And this is obviously Kendall's arena big time. So do you leverage that relationship at all with Kendall?
I think so, yeah, a little bit. He he's really big on that side, obviously, and we do talk like once or twice a week, so I do kind of get input from him on like the AI aspect or what's going on, or some of the different apps that are out there and what to use. So yeah,
What about
definitely.
business in general?
Yeah, definitely, because he's seen multiple businesses. He works with a bunch of businesses. Was with Real Green, so he's definitely seen a lot of different things. What's working, what's not working. So yeah, he definitely does help me out.
For sure. And then going back to the husband and wife dynamic, do you guys separate it when you get home, or is it just too hard to shut it off?
Man, we like go out, on date night, and it's like, okay, we can't talk about our baby boy or the business, and it's like we always go back to it, right? It's our life, right? And it's just so tough. We try to separate it. We try, really try, and it's like it always goes back to that conversation somehow. So we need to do better, definitely, because it's like we're the foundation, and when the foundation, or when we can't get away from it, then our personal relationship can struggle, right? And so we just need to be better at kind of building that foundation away from it, and then yeah, just moving forward.
Yeah, you said you guys have a baby boy.
Yeah, he was born in 2023, so he's about 1.5 right now.
Dang, how's that going? Brand new business. Now you got a new baby.
I know, right? It was definitely a life change, right? First time dad, and just crazy experience. We actually planned it like in the off season, right? You can't do that in the spring. So he was like born in September, almost per. He came a month early, so he was born like end of September. So we were gone for part of seeding season, but um, yeah, I mean it's been definitely like a huge life change, but I wouldn't change being a dad. I mean it's a whole
No,
different
me
experience, and
either.
it's an amazing journey.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So you had him. What month did you have him?
Like he was end of September.
Okay, so you missed. So you guys are doing aeration overseeding.
Yeah, he was due at like late October, but he came like 4 weeks early. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it was funny.
You guys couldn't plan for that, I suppose. Hey,
Yeah,
that's smart to plan because like one of my main guys had a baby like right dead smack in the middle of like May. It was like that's the worst time ever. That's what happens when you have a bunch of guys who are in the service industry. They're bored in the winter. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Um, well, obviously you work with your wife a lot. What are you guys' goals? Like, do you have separate goals? Are your goals aligned? Where do you want to take this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we really have kind of keyed in on that. I mean, the biggest, uh, the biggest lawn doctor franchise, I think, is hovering around 11 or 12 mil right now. And like revenue, right? Everybody says revenue, but yeah, and right now we're on pace to hit like 2.5 this year, I want to say. So, we definitely have huge goals. I mean, we want to be like the biggest one in the system, even bigger at
You
some
have to have a
point.
great market.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great, very, very, very strong market. We have very strong areas, territories. So I think we can definitely do that. We want to be like 10 years, we want to be somewhere in like the 15, 16, 17 area, just keep pushing. I think what's really driving that is our team. I just really want to create a good environment and experience, and, a career for my team, because those guys are truly the ones that, they work their ass off every day for us, right? And I just want to be able to provide for them, and like have them buy a house, right? Or buy a car, or whatever they want to do, complete all of their life's goals while also kind of, falling under our mission. I really want to do that for them.
Yeah. The one thing that I like about you guys starting right up in the franchise, like most people like they took the mowing route first, and they all went and mowed for years, and they're like, this sucks, and then they did fertilizing on the side, and it's like most of those guys left mowing, got into fertilizing, or you got to skip that curve, which is smart. Did you guys try to do like adding any ancillary services, or try to do anything different, or it's just been main focus, been weed and fert the entire time?
I mean, we really focus on weed and fur. We do. I know you're like big on pests. We do a little bit of like mosquito, perimeter pests. So we haven't really dove into like the entirety of pests, like exterior, like or like rat control stuff like that. We just do like pretty much mosquito perimeter pests.
That's pretty cool. Did you have any mentors, or do you have any mentors now that you talk with a lot? And they said you have your regional group or whatever, but outside of that, do you have any people that you follow, anything like that?
I'm in like the Arate syndicate, like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet thing. So we do that like call weekly. So they both really help us out too. And then I just listen to like a lot of the green industry podcasts, right? Like you, Green Grind, some of those other guys out there as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell me about the RTA Syndicate. How's that been?
That's been like it was at first I was like, that seems like a lot of money, but I've always followed Andy Frisella.
Me too. I listened to. I don't think I've missed a podcast in I don't know years at this point.
Yeah, so I've always been big on him, and then Angelica really loves Ed Milet, so it's like a perfect like Ed kind of comes in a little different than
He's a little
Andy.
softer.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a little more pulling at your heartstrings, right? And I think she really appreciates that from Ed, and Andy's just kind of like it very intense, right? And it's like you always get something from every call, and it's like they're both great, and like they do meetups and stuff sometimes, like during the year. So
What's been? As I say, what's been the what's is it? Do you think it's more implementation, or do you think it's more mindset focused with that?
So with them, like they're usually talking about way bigger issues, but it's mostly about like implementation and like you just have to basically implement what they're talking about. But a lot of it really is discipline. I mean, if you look back on anything, if you could stay disciplined, right, like 75 hard, if you can just stay
That was
disciplined
my
for some,
next question. Like, have you done it? Have you done 75 hard yet?
I have not done 75 hard. I've kind of stayed like on it, but not truly on it, right? Like I'm on a healthy diet. I work out every day, drink water, stuff like that. But I do want to do 75 hard just to kind of like really hold myself to that like extra tier, right? And hold myself accountable.
As you know, uh, it's hard, especially in the springtime. It's also hard doing 75 hard in winter. But that's one of the things that I've talked about the podcast a lot too. One of the things that helps me get through winter is I do 75 hard every winter, and it's brutal. Which Michigan's cold, it's 30 below zero, and the winds are ripping. You come back and your eyes are like can barely open them because they're ice shut. Like 75 hard and up here is different. I think I just finished my eighth time doing it. I've done it 10 times total, failed twice, and I just finished my eighth like last week. So um, I would highly recommend doing it. It's a game changer. It keeps me super focused with work. My health's super important too, but just yeah, now it's like lifestyle. Like it really is at this point. Outside, like what is like number one thing that you've gotten from being in that group?
I think really something I've really taken away is like it's like you have yourself at the end of the day, but if you can like build a team and build a strong team, like and really rely on those people, those are the people that are going to kind of get you to where you want to go, right? Because at the end of the day, we're only just one person, or we can only steer the ship, right? We have to trust in other people, and it's all about kind of just finding those right people. And it goes back to EOS too, but it goes back to really finding the right people in the right seats, right? And just kind of plugging them in, and then kind of making minor modifications here and there, right, based off what's happening.
For sure. I love that. It's super smart too. And I like what you said too, is like they're solving a lot bigger problems, which maybe they're too big for you to understand right now, which even my mentor too, like he would tell me all these things that were happening. And it was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then like you go back and listen, you're like, now I get it because you get bigger. So it's cool because at least it has your eyes open to what's to come. You know what I mean? And you'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard this before. Cool. I know what to do here. Or go back and rewatch that video that you watched previously, you know?
Exactly. You're like, if I'm having a bad day, I'll just go listen to like one of their bad days, right? And it's like, does it even compare, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all those things that, we We definitely we all have bad days, right? But 10% of our days across a month, so we're going to have 3 to 4 bad days per month, which I get. But it's compared to what you listen to other people's stories or listen to what people are going through. I'm like, man, knock on wood, we live a pretty good life,
Yeah, exactly.
So just and you want to try to stay grateful at all times. And I understand it. It's hard, it's you get so caught up in the moment, but at the end of the day, just you have to be grateful for what we have too. Cause there's so many people even you, probably when you first started, I can't wait to be 2.5 million. This is my dream come true. And then you're there, you're okay, well, this is not my dream anymore. I'm going to go to the next big, I'm trying to get to 15, 16, 17 million, like I said. So, but most people, fortunately, we live a pretty good life,
Yeah, exactly.
Just wrap this thing up because it's going on an hour. I know you said you want to get to 15, 16 million, but what's the next year goal for you? What do you want to accomplish this year? What do you want to accomplish next year? Not even just in with work, but maybe work and then personal life too. You got any trips planned? What do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is maybe planning a family trip once a year because we have not been good at vacations at all.
Yeah, I started doing that about 4 years ago.
Yeah, so that's a big thing is implement a family vacation or just some time off, really kind of recharge. With the business, it's more so just kind of continue to build out those implementations and systems and then kind of build out our different divisions and teams, right? So our sales team, our marketing team, and our operations team and really kind of dive into each one of those and kind of really all of them with their SOPs. And so it can kind of be a plug and play system as well. So eventually, if we ever get outside of our current territory, we could just start a new territory somewhere else and kind of have that whole system down, right? Have the whole blueprint really. This is what you need to do. This is how you do it.
Cool. So you were saying that potentially there's multiple offices, that you're saying?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, eventually.
Cool. I love it. Any other place in mind that you're thinking? Somewhere warmer? Or you stick to Michigan?
That'd be nice. So somewhere warm would be nice. I think Michigan might be the first one just to test it out.
Keep it close for sure.
But then it'd be cool to have one in Florida or somewhere south, right?
Sure would be. With Lawn Doctor, I know they'll have other areas open. Is there anything available in your area that you can go to?
We did just expand this year. Actually, we expanded into Muskegon, more Lakeshore area. There is that, but I know currently I think there's a little bit of space in Detroit or outside of Detroit, and then I think Traverse City is also another potential somewhere in there. One of those two.
Yeah, off the top of your head, do you know how many locations that Lawn Doctor has? I know I looked this up before, but it's been a minute. I want to say there's 100 and maybe there's more than that.
I think it's above 220 now, 225, because they have I know they do 10 to 20 locations a year, something like that as well. So yeah.
How are those regional events that you go to? They're pretty fun. You do once a year or whatever. The corporate things?
Yeah, those are awesome because we do a night out and then there's a class the next day. But really, I find a lot of value in the networking with just other owners, right? That's when you really kind of get those nuggets and talking to them and seeing, their perspective and their mindset and, what they're struggling with too.
Yeah, love it. Last question for you. Is there any piece of advice that you would like to give, the listeners that maybe are just starting out too? We have a lot of those, a lot of pest control, lawn care operators that are just starting out there, 100, 250,000. We've all been through that. Any advice for those guys that you'd like to give?
I would say I have two things. One of them is know your numbers, right? Because there's no point in doing this if you're you're not making money. The second one would be just be disciplined, right? Be willing to do whatever it takes, right? Have that mindset of I'm willing to knock on any door, B&I meetings, just do that guerrilla work that everybody kind of forgets about, right? And if you can kind of keep that mindset, I don't see why nobody could stop you.
Awesome. Well, we're going to end it there because that's fire. So, dude, I appreciate it. I can't wait to watch the journey going forward. I know we just had to meet for the first time today in person, but it's going to be a good friendship going forward. We'll definitely have you back on next year, see where you guys are at. Keep in touch.
Awesome, man. For sure. Thank you. You too.
See you, man. Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Pest Control Millionaire. We don't charge any money for the show, but the podcast isn't free. Please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. This makes a huge difference for us. If you have any specific questions about your business or your personal life that you'd like answered by me or any of my podcast guests, please send an email to info@pestcontrolmillionaire.com. And if you want to get in touch with me about our marketing class, we do a live version every Thursday night. Check out our website at pestcontrolmillionaires.com. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.